Hey guys, Dr. Zach here, and welcome to our very first video in our deep dives here at Luminous Chiropractic. This section of our website, these deep dives, are dedicated to going into a little bit longer form discussion on certain things, on the topics that you might even see us talking about, sharing about on our Instagram, our Facebook, social media, even maybe some blog posts, giving ourselves some time to expand on those so we can get into more of the details and the nuance in some of these discussions. This was brought on by a post that we made not too long ago that got some interaction and some comments and letting us know that people wanted to know more about it. So we're creating this as a way for us to start sharing just a little bit more in-depth information on those things. So today is just kind of a broad topic, a broad introduction, if you will, to our philosophy and what we know to be true here at Luminous about health, healing, and well-being. The post that I made was in regards to children and their challenges around growth, development, and their health, and in a way that I what I was speaking to was that those challenges, when they do show up, when we have maybe some less than optimal health, that uh, let's not make that the bad guy. Right? Let's not make that the problem. Let's not make that this big thing that we have to change or to get rid of. Rather, let's look at that as this child's nervous system and their body's intelligent adaptation to what is going on in and around their life. So, what I want people to really start to get an understanding on around this, it's going to be vitally important for you as parents and as adults, as much as it is for your children, is understanding that the body, our bodies, our nervous system, all the things that our bodies do, it was created intelligently. It doesn't do anything on accident. It doesn't do anything just because no matter what the allopathic mainstream medical model of explanation of health goes, which that could be a whole other video, that's not the full understanding, right? The symptom isn't the bad thing. The symptom isn't the bad guy, right? It's not the thing that we really need to cut out of our life. Symptomatology is the language of the body. It is our body's way of telling us, hey, there's this going on. Well, here's how I can adapt to that and still show up in the world and do my best to keep moving forward. So if we tie that back to our kiddos and our children, especially with their challenges we may see, especially in the earlier years of life and that growth and that development, when they're starting to learn, maybe even for a little further down the line on development, when we're starting to get into more of the higher cognitive functions, behavior, emotions, speech. How do I interact in the world with other people? How do I interact in the world with my family, with my friends? All these things, right? Where we might see, wait a minute, that doesn't seem right to me. They're not doing XYZ like I believe they should or could, right? That is an indication that their nervous system might need a little help and some support. Not that we need to cut that out and kind of get rid of that out of their life, because that showing up is their body, is their brain, is their nervous system's way of telling us, as me specifically as a chiropractor, or even you as the parent, that their body just needs some support. Their nervous system needs some support to get through this, rather than the opposite would be to, hey, what do we need to do to try to make this go away? And my perspective is, if we've got this challenge right here, that's a roadblock for our kid, and we're just kind of hitting into it. That version of like, how do we change that? What that looks like is, or how do we get rid of it? Is what do I need to do to help my kid get around that and not experience this anymore? Which is a understandable viewpoint from a parent's perspective. Is my kid is challenged, there's something keeping them from experiencing life as well as I believe they should. Well, how can I help them? How can I get them to not experience that anymore? My perspective and my understanding, what I'm going to invite you through this video to start to contemplate, to start to understand, is that we don't need to find something that takes us around whatever that challenge is. If we support them in a way with something like the chiropractic care that we offer at Luminous, we are then allowing them to find a way to move through that challenge, allow their nervous system to adapt and to heal, restore, reorganize in a way that allows them to move through and past it. So, in the opposite would be if we keep coming around it, it's just going to keep coming back, and we're going to have to keep moving around it in different ways. However, that looks, it might start to change as our children get older. The common saying that many of you have probably heard from your parents or from your kiddo's pediatrician is, well, they're just going to grow out of it. Don't worry about it. Okay, that's partly true. That's just not the full story. Growing out of it looks like, well, we're just going to keep moving around it till that thing changes, right? Where, let's say, uh, they're not crawling. Well, maybe they might grow out of it and eventually they start walking, but then later in life we have another challenge show up with another milestone or another developmental uh, piece that's now just showing up as something different, right? Where we can go back and say, well, wait a minute, there was a challenge there. It may look different, but more than likely, kiddos do not grow out of things, they grow into something else. So, for this discussion and what we're trying to convey with this message is instead of just coming around it, right, figuring a way to not experience it anymore, going through it, allowing the nervous system, the body to do what it was intelligently designed to do, adapt, reorganize, restore, heal, thrive on abundant levels, we actually then give our kiddos a chance to move past that. So, in short, and kind of bringing this back to a close, those challenges are an intelligent adaptation for our children. That is the communication from their body saying, hey, with all of the things I've been through and everything that's going on currently, here's how I am able to show up in the world. Here's how I'm able to be a developing child in this situation is by this. This is how I then react, or this is how I am, how I be in these situations because of all of those factors. It's not the thing that we said, we make them bad or we make them wrong for. A lot of times we understand that as adults, like they're growing, they're kids. A lot of times they're not making these decisions just on their own to say, hey, I'm going to try to make this as hard as possible in these situations for my parents. That's just how their nervous system is in such a place that is presenting that. So then they are also in that place. We live our lives through our nervous system. If that nervous system is stuck, if it's challenged, if it is stressed out, if it is subluxated, it's going to show up for our kiddos in a myriad of different ways. More than likely, especially for our young kids, it is going to show up in how they function because they do not have the words, they do not have the consciousness and the awareness to be able to verbalize it for us. We have to look at how they're functioning, and that is the milestones. That is the neural development. Those are those checkpoints along the way to know, hey, how are we doing? Where are we at? Are we hitting those? Are we hitting those optimally? Right? And if not, how is my kiddo showing up in the world? And how can I then give them the support that they need to uh, move through that, heal, restore, reorganize around that to then show up in the world as their most abundant, thriving selves? And that, at the end of the day, is what I stand for. That is what we stand for here at Luminous Chiropractic, is to help every kid, every family come in, make the changes they need to make or are desiring to make to help them get back to a place where they are living from that abundance, where they are living from that level of health, thriving uh, more than likely in ways, especially as adults, that we did not think was possible. or that we forgot was possible through all the different things that life, relationships, work, family, all the things that have thrown at us that have stressed us out, um, kept us disconnected from our own ability to thrive. Well, if we help our kiddos earlier with that, we set them up for a stronger foundation to go through life with a more resilient, a more adaptable, uh, strong nervous system, which then in turn allows them as a person to have the best chance to do the same thing. It's not a, we're going to do this and that is exactly how it's going to happen. It's no, we're going to do this and create the change and help their nervous system adapt and be resilient to give them the best chance to do the same thing. And more often than not, because again, we live through that nervous system, the more we support the nervous system along the way, the more likely we are to have those changes, to live that life, to have those super high, optimal, thriving levels of health for our kids as they age and as they grow. Just like anything for their health, the more they do it and the more that we can help them get into the consistent actions of doing the things that are good for them, the more likely it's going to stick and the more likely we set them up for success down the road. So if this is something that makes sense to you, this is maybe uh, you heard something here that was like, oh, wow, I never thought about that like that. That seems very true to me. I've always thought that. Awesome. You're in the right place. If you're not with us already, I invite you to come be with us. Come join the family here at Luminous Chiropractic. Let us take care of you. Let us support you and your family on this road, on this journey of life and health. There's no pit stops. There's no, we do this thing and now it's over. It's a journey. We're here to support you through every stage of life, through your life, your kiddo's life, your family's life. We are here for all of you. And we would be so honored to have you here at Luminous Chiropractic. So if you're not with us, I hope to see you very, very soon. If you are, can't wait to see you this week for your appointment and get you tuned up and get you adjusted. Love you all, and we'll see you very, very soon.